Europe. Land of ancient cities. Land of breathtaking landscapes. Land of villages and traditions. Even though it covers only 7% of the Earth's surface, Europe stands undeniably as the undisputed queen of global tourism, with more than 740 million visitors every year. And it holds the record for the most UNESCO World Heritage Sites, with over 450 places, all concentrated in a relatively small space. This extraordinary concentration of beauty makes it truly impossible to capture the essence of every single European country in just one trip, creating, in fact, the eternal dilemma: what should you see first? In this video, then, we'll show you all the places that, in our opinion, should be visited at least once in a lifetime. Let's begin. Vienna, Austria. Vienna is a crossroads of imperial grandeur and contemporary innovation. Known for its historic palaces like Schönbrunn and Belvedere, and for its deep connection to classical composers like Mozart, Beethoven, and Strauss, it is a paradise for lovers of Christmas and classical music. In fact, beyond the many Christmas markets during wintertime, the city also hosts the world-renowned State Opera, where some of the finest opera productions on Earth can be seen. Vienna is also famous for its enchanting historic center, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, where architectural wonders like St. Stephen's Cathedral and the majestic Imperial Palace, the Hofburg, await. Vienna's museums, finally, such as the Museum of Art History and the Museum of Natural History, offer collections that rank among the most impressive in all of Europe. Bavaria, Germany. Among the peaks of the German Alps lies a territory where castles dominate the landscape. The ultimate expression of this territory's beauty comes from King Ludwig II, who left his most imposing mark here with Neuschwanstein, the fortress that inspired Walt Disney for his cinematic creations. Moving instead toward more isolated valleys, we find Linderhof Castle, less known but equally fascinating. The romantic road then crosses the heart of the region, connecting medieval centers preserved through the centuries. For example, Rothenburg ob der Tauber still maintains its original fortifications, while Dingelsbühl and Nördlingen showcase medieval squares where merchants still gather today as they did hundreds of years ago. Munich instead tells a different story, also through the Glockenspiel in Marienplatz, where mechanical figures come to life every day, following the rhythm of the bells. Also in Munich, the Residence reveals collections accumulated during 700 years of Wittelsbach dynasty, while the Deutsches Museum houses inventions that have transformed the course of civilization. September completely transforms this land, with Oktoberfest filling the streets of Munich, while throughout the region the landscape colors with autumn hues, making this period the ideal time to discover Bavaria. Fjords, Norway. The fjords of Norway are a breathtaking spectacle of nature. These narrow sea channels, surrounded by towering rock walls, offer some of the most spectacular views in the world. Traveling through the fjords, whether by sea or along the many scenic trails, is an experience that blends adventure and wonder. Geirangerfjord and Nærøyfjord, both UNESCO World Heritage Sites, are especially known for their wild and unspoiled beauty. The region also offers a rich culture, with small fishing villages and Norwegian traditions that continue to thrive among these idyllic landscapes. Swiss Alps and villages. The Swiss Alps offer a landscape of incomparable natural beauty, with majestic mountains, green valleys, and crystal-clear lakes. Zermatt at the foot of the Matterhorn is an ideal destination for mountain lovers, with ski slopes in winter and hiking trails in summer. The town is completely pedestrian, allowing visitors to enjoy fresh air and stunning views without car pollution. Interlaken, instead, located between Lake Thun and Lake Brienz, is another jewel of the Alps, famous as a gateway to outdoor adventures like paragliding, rafting, and trekking. The two towns offer a perfect mix of excitement and calm, with the opportunity to immerse yourself in the peace of the mountains and to experience traditional Swiss hospitality in cozy chalets and restaurants that serve fondue and raclette. Andalusia, Spain. Andalusia tells the story of different interwoven cultures through 6 cities, each with a distinctive voice in the chorus of Spanish history. In Seville, the Real Alcázar reveals secret passages and courtyards, where Moorish architecture marries with Christian elements. La Giralda stands as the central point of the city. The Plaza de España enchants with its architecture and grandeur, while the Santa Cruz quarter hides secrets in every corner of its streets. Granada instead houses the Alhambra, a palace city where water perfectly binds with architecture. The Generalife offers hanging gardens that defy gravity, while the Albayacin quarter preserves the essence of Moorish life among its traditional houses called carmens. Córdoba, continuing, hides a labyrinth of alleys that lead to the Mesquita. The La Juderia quarter reveals courtyards and synagogues, centers of Jewish culture, while the Roman bridge reflects in the Guadalquivir. Malaga pulses to the rhythm of the sea, and its museums preserve Picasso's legacy. The Gibralfaro Castle dominates the city, offering panoramas that extend all the way to Africa. Ronda defies gravity, suspended over a ravine that divides the ancient city from the new one. The new bridge unites these two worlds, while stone streets create a peaceful and immersive atmosphere. Marbella finally fuses the charm of the fishing village with contemporary luxury. Its historic center, which is Plaza de los Naranjos, features white walls and flowered balconies, with Sierra Blanca forming the backdrop for this Mediterranean stage. May seems the perfect time to discover Andalusia, with flowered patios exploding in a festival of colors, while temperatures allow exploring the cities without the intense summer heat. Lake District, Italy. The Lake District in Italy is a region of extraordinary scenic beauty located in the north of the country. Lake Como, Lake Garda, and Lake Maggiore are nestled between towering mountains and are surrounded by charming small towns. Lake Como, with its luxurious villas and botanical gardens, attracts celebrities and travelers in search of peace and beauty. Lake Garda instead offers a wide range of recreational activities, from windsurfing to hiking in nearby nature parks. Lake Maggiore, finally, is famous for the Borromean Islands, a group of fairy tale islands with palaces and exotic gardens. The region offers not only natural beauty, but also rich culture, with music festivals, art exhibitions, and local markets that celebrate Italian traditions. Cliffs of Moher, Ireland. On the western Irish coast, a rock barrier rises 214 meters, challenging the Atlantic for 350 million years. The wind has shaped every layer of these natural walls, which extend for 8 kilometers, while water has carved deep caves at their base. O'Brien's Tower has dominated the highest point of the cliff since 1835. And from this position, when the sky is clear, the eye can glimpse the Aran Islands and the Connemara Mountains standing on the horizon. Thousands of seabirds have chosen these walls as their home, creating colonies that animate this extreme environment. Then there are also several paths that follow the edge of the cliffs, offering ever-changing perspectives on this natural monument, which changes color with the passing of hours. Furthermore, local legends speak of a submerged city beneath the waves that ceaselessly crash against the rock, adding an element of mystery to this primordial place. Between April and September, these cliffs reveal their true essence, with the climate becoming more stable, days lengthening, allowing more time for exploration, and with nature manifesting itself in all its power and splendor. Provence, France. A land where lavender fields stretch to the horizon, coloring the landscape in deep purple. This is Provence, a region that captures the spirit of southern France, with its idyllic scenery, vibrant art, and colorful markets. As you walk through the charming streets of villages like Saint-Remy or Gourde, you'll come across shops selling Provençal fabrics and handcrafted ceramics. The cuisine here is another chapter entirely, with aromatic olive oils, bold wines, and sun-soaked dishes like bouillabaisse, ready to delight your senses. And with an artistic history boasting names like Van Gogh and Cézanne, every corner of this region feels like a living painting. Provence is not just a place to visit, it is an experience to live. Madeira, Portugal. A jewel emerges from the Atlantic, suspended between sky and ocean. The laurel forests, recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, wrap parts of the island in an almost constant fog, transforming its landscape. Several trails cross these ancient woods where time seems to have stopped. Additionally, a network of channels dug into the soil extends for over 2,500 kilometers. Called Ievadas and created centuries ago to irrigate the lands, they now form paths that lead to hidden waterfalls and remote valleys, with water flowing constantly, accompanying visitors on their journey. There are also large cliffs that rise steeply over the ocean, with the sea crashing against the volcanic rock, creating a scenario of primordial confrontation between land and water. Funchal, instead, can be seen as the heart of the island, with its markets offering local products in a blaze of colors and scents, while the botanical gardens host plants that bloom in every season, thanks to the perennial spring climate present on the island. This territory, therefore, represents a meeting point between adventure and tranquility. Hikers indeed find challenges on the mountain trails, while those seeking peace discover virgin corners where nature dominates uncontested. Prague, Czech Republic. Nicknamed the City of 100 Spires, Prague rises on the banks of the Vltava like a fairy tale book carved in stone. Its medieval skyline miraculously survived the wars that transformed Europe, tells millennia of history through an extraordinary fusion of architectural styles. From Romanesque to Gothic, from Baroque to Art Nouveau, each era has left its own indelible mark. The Charles Bridge, an ancient artery connecting the Old Town to the Castle District, is much more than a simple crossing. Rather, it's an open-air art gallery where 30 Baroque statues have watched over passers-by for over 3 centuries. In the spectacular Old Town Square, instead, the medieval astronomical clock has been marking time since 1410, enchanting visitors with its hourly procession of dancing apostles. While Prague Castle, the largest castle complex in the world, dominates the city from atop its hill, housing within its walls the magnificent St. Vitus Cathedral. In winter, moreover, when snow blankets the roofs of the Jewish quarter and the Gothic spires of the Tin Church, Prague transforms into something mystical, where it feels like returning to the era of Mozart and Kafka. Zaanse, Schans, Netherlands. It is a journey through time into the Dutch countryside of the 18th century. This open-air village is famous for its historic windmills and its characteristic wooden houses, which have preserved their functional charm and old-world style. Here, visitors can witness up close how windmills once powered everything, from grain milling to oil pressing to paper production. Zaanse Schans is not just an open-air museum, but a living community that continues to uphold traditional Dutch craftsmanship. Interestingly, many of the windmills are still working today, and some are open to the public for live demonstrations. The village also features shops selling local products like Dutch cheese, handcrafted chocolate, and traditional souvenirs, making it a perfect place to experience authentic Dutch culture. Oxford, England. Welcome to the Temple of Knowledge. Here for 900 years, the world elite has been formed. And you just need to walk among medieval colleges to immediately understand why. Silent courtyards and Gothic spires that challenge the sky. This is the landscape where ideas that change the world are born. Inside the Bodleian Library sleep millions of secrets, with books and manuscripts that are just waiting to be discovered. And then look up, and here's the Radcliffe camera, with that dome that everyone photographs, but few truly observe. But Oxford doesn't live only in the past. In its laboratories, at this moment, someone is discovering the future, doing research that tomorrow will save lives, change medicine, and revolutionize science. And if all this seems familiar, it's because you've already seen it. From Tolkien to Harry Potter, Oxford is the muse that inspires dreams. For this reason, it's not just a university, but it's the place where the impossible becomes reality. Rome, Italy. Rome, the Eternal City, lives as a vast open-air museum with nearly 3,000 years of history visible in its streets and squares. From the majestic ruins of the Colosseum to the remains of the Roman Forum, every corner of this city tells the story of an empire that shaped the Western world. Beyond its archaeological and artistic richness, it is famous for its enchanting squares like Piazza Navona, and for landmarks such as the Trevi Fountain, where it is tradition to toss a coin and make a wish. Rome is also the heart of the Catholic Church, home to the Vatican, where St. Peter's Basilica, the Sistine Chapel, and the incomparable Vatican museums can be found. The city offers a vibrant nightlife with outdoor cafes, restaurants, and trattorias that invite you to experience the Roman dolce vita. Transylvania, Romania. In the heart of Romania is a historical region surrounded by the Carpathian Mountains, famous for its castles, medieval villages, and legends of vampires. In this landscape, the citadel of Sighișoara keeps the Middle Ages alive within its walls, with the clock tower marking the minutes for 700 years. While on Cositoraler Street in house number 6, Vlad the Impaler was born, the prince who gave rise to the myth of Dracula. Bran Castle, instead, rises from the forest, with towers that stand against the sky. Despite Dracula never having lived within these walls, vampire legends permeate every corner of the fortress, creating an atmosphere that attracts visitors from all over the world. Then there is the village of Viskri, which preserves houses built by the Saxons in the 12th century. The fortified church overlooks the settlement, surrounded by walls that for centuries have protected the inhabitants from invasions, testifying to a past of conflicts and resilience. Finally, the fortress of Rashnov should also be remembered, which dominates its valley from the top of a hill. There is also a 143-meter well dug into the rock, which tells the story of 2 Turkish prisoners who took 17 years to complete this monumental work, a sign of human determination in extreme conditions. October completely transforms this region, with mists enveloping castles and villages, leaves creating a multicolored carpet in the woods, while mild temperatures allow long explorations of these places, which become even more charged with mystery. Svalbard Islands, Norway. In the Arctic Ocean, there is an archipelago where nature reigns supreme. Snow-capped mountains rise from a tundra that extends as far as the eye can see, while vast glaciers continually shape the landscape in a millennial geological process. Polar bears roam these remote territories in search of prey, sharing the habitat with Arctic foxes with pure white coats. The sky is periodically filled with flocks of migratory birds, which find in Svalbard a temporary refuge during their long journeys. Explorations in this corner of the world take different forms. Indeed, dog sleds glide silently on compacted snow, while ships venture into the frozen fjords, revealing perspectives impossible to capture by land. Additionally, in the winter months, the Arctic darkness is illuminated by the northern lights, creating light shows that transform the polar night into a natural stage. Beyond the wild beauty, this territory plays a fundamental role for science, with researchers from around the world studying its environment and climate, collecting crucial data to understand the changes affecting the entire planet Earth. Cappadocia, Turkey. Cappadocia is renowned for its lunar landscapes and for the rock formations known as fairy chimneys, natural sculptures shaped by erosion. This historic region of Turkey is also famous for its underground cities and its cave churches adorned with ancient frescoes. Hot air balloon rides at sunrise offer a breathtaking aerial view of this enchanted land, while trails allow for close exploration of valleys and villages. Cappadocia is also a striking example of human adaptation, with houses and hotels carved directly into the rock, providing a unique and immersive place to stay. French Riviera, France. From Saint-Tropez to Menton, stretches a coast that has gained worldwide fame for its combination of natural beauty and luxury. The cobalt blue sea laps golden beaches, while elegant cities follow one another along this stretch of the Mediterranean. Monaco attracts with its lavish casino, while the city streets transform once a year into the Formula One Grand Prix track, creating one of the most exclusive sporting events in the world. Cannes, instead, pulses to the rhythm of its famous film festival. International stars walk the red carpet, while luxury boutiques in the surrounding streets offer creations from the most renowned designers. Nice finally shows another face of the Riviera with its lively promenade, where locals and tourists mix. There is also the flower market, which adds color and sense to the city. High cuisine restaurants complete the experience along the entire coast, offering dishes that combine Mediterranean tradition and culinary innovation, testifying to the essence of a lifestyle that has made this region a symbol of elegance. Faroe Islands, Denmark. The Atlantic has worked for millions of years on these lands, creating vertical walls that plunge directly into the sea. Sheep graze peacefully on grass-covered fields, dotting with white the intense green that characterizes these islands, constantly battered by wind. Lake Sørvágsvatn creates a natural optical illusion, appearing suspended above the ocean thanks to the particular formation of the cliff on which it sits. The Møllefosser waterfalls instead plunge from high cliffs directly into ocean waters, creating a hypnotic spectacle of fresh water joining the sea. There is also the village of Saksund, which hides inside a valley that was once a fjord. June brings with it the midnight sun, which lengthens days up to 20 hours, providing ideal light to explore these wild and untouched territories. Budapest, Hungary. The Danube cuts this capital into two distinct parts, creating a city divided by nature, but reunited by human ingenuity. The bridges connecting Buda and Pest are not simple passage structures, but true symbols that at night project luminous constellations on the dark waters of the river. And it is precisely from the river that boats move incessantly, transporting inhabitants and visitors between the two souls of the city, creating a living connection between different urban realities. Furthermore, Parliament dominates the shore with its imposing mass. This building stands like a cathedral dedicated to democracy, with pinnacles that seem to touch the sky, while its foundations sink into the waters of this river, which crosses Central Europe. And then there are the thermal lakes, thanks to the caves that hide beneath the city's surface, and that feed the thermal baths, one of the most characteristic aspects of Hungarian culture, true places where social life intertwines with physical well-being. Finally, from March to May, the hills of Buda become easily explorable thanks to mild temperatures. Gardens fill with new life, and outdoor thermal baths offer a unique experience between steams and historic architectures. Portuguese Coast. Along Portugal's western coast unfolds a landscape unlike any other, capturing the very essence of the Atlantic. This coastal stretch is a collage of golden beaches, dramatic cliffs, and historic villages, each with its own unique charm. Starting in Porto, which we will explore later, You can follow the coast all the way to Lisbon, discovering along the way enchanting places like Aveiro, often called the Venice of Portugal, for its picturesque canals. Continuing on, Sintra emerges as an unmissable destination thanks to its palaces and exotic gardens, to its romantic architecture, and to the spectacular panoramas over the countryside and all the way to the coast. Cascais and Estoril, with their elegant beaches and Belle Époque charm, offer a blend of class and history, while Cappadocia, with its wide surf-friendly beaches, attracts athletes from across the globe. The Portuguese coast is also a haven for biodiversity, with natural parks like Arabada, where mountains meet the sea in a breathtaking embrace. Black Forest, Germany. Lush woods, hidden valleys and peaks shrouded in fog, create a territory that has inspired many of the Brothers Grimm's fairy tales. This vast landscape changes face with the passing of seasons, offering ever-new scenarios to visitors who venture into it. Paths cross wild areas where nature dominates uncontested, creating opportunities for hikers of every level. Mountain biking and skiing represent just some of the possible activities in this region, which invites active exploration of both its natural spaces and its small villages and towns. Freiburg im Breisgau, for example, rises at the foot of this green expanse. The city stands out for the mild climate that characterizes it and for a quality of life that attracts people from all over the world. The Gothic cathedral towers in the historic center, with a bell tower that visually dominates the entire settlement. Freiburg's sustainability model, moreover, manifests itself through extensive pedestrian zones and an innovative drainage system. Indeed, the small historic waterways are used to naturally cool the air during the summer months, creating a unique urban microclimate. Meteora, Greece. In the heart of mainland Greece, Meteora rises like a surreal vision. This UNESCO site is famous for its monasteries, perched atop massive stone pillars, accessible only by staircases carved into the rock or by cable cars. The sight of these monasteries, set against a backdrop of blue skies and deep valleys, is simply breathtaking. Beyond its undeniable spiritual and historical value, Meteora is a paradise for hikers and climbers, with countless trails winding between the towering rocks. For those wanting to explore beyond the natural scenery, Meteora also offers a variety of souvenir shops, cafes with panoramic views, and guided tours that tell the story and culture of this unique place. Venice, Italy. Venice, one of the most poetic and romantic cities in the world, is an architectural masterpiece that seems to float on the waters of its lagoon. Famous for its canals, arched bridges, and the unmistakable St. Mark's Square, with its campanile and golden basilica, Venice captivates visitors at every corner. A gondola ride along the Grand Canal reveals unique views of historic palaces and churches reflected in the water. Beyond its artistic and historical heritage, Venice is celebrated for its carnival, a festival of masks and mystery that draws crowds from around the globe. Barcelona, Spain. The most visited city in Spain combines history, art, and daily life in a unique blend. La Sagrada Familia dominates the skyline and is a titanic project which, after over 100 years, continues its construction. This monument represents not only an architectural masterpiece, but also a symbol of human perseverance in creating works that transcend generations. Passeig de Gràcia, instead, cuts the city with its elegant layout. Along this avenue sprout Gaudi's buildings, like Casa Batlló, which stand out thanks to their dancing facades or that seem to move. And it is also for this reason that this area is one of the places with the highest real estate prices in all of Spain. Furthermore, entering the Gothic quarter, the narrow streets form a labyrinth that invites exploration. Hidden squares suddenly open up, hosting markets and cultural events that animate these spaces almost every day of the year. Finally, we find the beaches of Barceloneta, which offer a contrast with the urban rhythm. The golden sand welcomes those seeking a moment of pause, while bars along the coast serve aperitifs at sunset, where the setting sun transforms the sky into a canvas of colors, creating a natural spectacle that wonderfully concludes the days in this Catalan metropolis. Lofoten Islands, Norway. An archipelago emerges from the waters of the Arctic Ocean, creating a place where land and sea seem to merge. Mountains rise directly from the water, forming vertical walls that defy the laws of physics. Here, red houses built on stilts characterize the fishing villages that dot the jagged coast. These settlements have resisted for centuries, adapting to extreme conditions and keeping alive the tradition of deep-sea fishing. The sun, moreover, follows different rules in this corner of the world. Indeed, during summer, it never sets, gifting days that seem to have no end. Winter, instead, brings darkness when the sun disappears below the horizon for weeks, leaving space only for darkness and the northern lights. Fishermen cross these landscapes following the cod that migrates in the icy waters, while in protected bays, whales find refuge during their long journeys across the ocean. If you are wondering which is the best time to visit this paradise, summer opens endless possibilities for trekking between peaks and valleys, while winter transforms the landscape with snow, creating ideal scenarios for photography and an atmosphere of primordial quiet. Amalfi Coast, Italy. The Amalfi Coast follows State Road 163, a panoramic road that winds between cliffs, bays, and villages overlooking the sea. Positano clings to the mountain with houses that seem to defy gravity. Stairs replace roads, creating a vertical labyrinth that leads from the sea up to the vineyards in the heights. Amalfi, instead, hides its past as a maritime republic behind the facade of the cathedral, while its narrow alleys climb between lemon groves and ancient noble palaces. And then there's Ravello, which rises above the clouds. Villa Ruffolo and Villa Cimbrone offer terraces suspended over the void, and the cathedral mixes Eastern and Western styles. The path of the gods crosses the coast between sky and sea, revealing idyllic panoramas and lemon groves that climb on terraces supported by dry stone walls built centuries ago. April and October are ideal for visiting this place. The climate allows long walks while tourists decrease, leaving space to explore the alleys and savor the local rhythm of life. Sintra, Portugal. A few kilometers from Lisbon hides a world where fantasy takes shape in stone and gardens. The castles of Sintra were not built, but seem to have grown from the ground itself, as if the mountain had dreamed palaces and towers. When the morning fog envelops the hills, Penna Palace emerges with its impossible colors: red, yellow, blue, a royal caprice that defies any architectural logic. Higher up, the walls of the Moorish castle snake along the ridge like a sleeping stone dragon, silent witness to conquests and defeats. Beneath the surface of Quinta da Regalera, a labyrinth of tunnels leads to the initiatic well, where a spiral descends toward the center of the earth. Sintra is also rich in small bars and local craft shops, perfect for a break between visits. Istanbul, Turkey. At the point where two continents meet, Istanbul tells a story that began centuries ago through its streets. This city stands on the shores of the Bosphorus and connects Europe to Asia, not only geographically, but also culturally. The minarets of the Blue Mosque rise toward the sky, while the sunset transforms the horizon into a spectacle of colors. Inside, light filters through 200 windows and illuminates thousands of blue tiles that cover the walls. Just a few steps from here, however, Hagia Sophia dominates the skyline with its imposing dome that has defied gravity for 1,500 years. This building has lived as a Byzantine cathedral, a museum, and an Ottoman mosque. Therefore, it tells the transformation of the city better than any history book. Furthermore, when merchants open their shops in the Grand Bazaar, the scent of spices spreads through the corridors, where trading has been done for centuries. Istanbul, therefore, is not just a place to visit, but an experience to live that remains imprinted in the memory of those who walk its streets full of history. Isle of Skye, Scotland. Skye emerges from the Scottish Sea as a mix of rock and water. The Old Man of Storr rises solitary on the coast and is a basalt pinnacle that defies gravity. The Quiraing reveals a lunar landscape created by ancient landslides, where the Earth continues to move under tourists' feet. The fairy pools instead descend from the Black Quillins in a series of waterfalls and natural pools, while Dunvegan Castle guards the fairy flag, a legendary banner for this nation. Then there is Neist Point, a lighthouse that extends into the ocean, withstanding storms, while the cliffs host colonies of puffins. May brings longer days and less rain. The heather blooms, and clouds create plays of light that transform the landscape. Balearic Islands, Spain. Magnificent pearls in the Mediterranean, these islands offer a diversity far beyond their clear beaches. Majorca stands out for its dramatic mountain chains and expansive white sand beaches, perfect for sun-filled relaxation and fun. The coast invites a wide range of water activities from windsurfing to paddleboarding, attracting adventurers from all over the world. Ibiza is world famous for its clubs and top-tier electronic music scene, but it offers much more than vibrant nightlife. Beyond the dance floors, it surprises with quiet, hidden coves and charming bohemian villages like Saint John, where a relaxed atmosphere and local art contrast beautifully with the island's more energetic side. Menorca, in contrast, is known for its long stretches of untouched sand and peaceful vibe, ideal for those seeking an escape from daily life. Its coastline is a paradise for nature lovers, with countless coastal trails offering exceptional views. Formentera, finally, with its shallow, crystal-clear waters, is perfect for families and for those seeking total serenity. Its Sazilites beach is frequently ranked among the most beautiful in the world, a true jewel that enchants everyone who visits. Cinque Terre, Italy. The Ligurian coast welcomes 5 villages that develop between mountain and sea. Rio Maggiore, Manarola, Cornelia, Vernazza, and Monterosso al Mare, all with buildings of vibrant colors that contrast with the blue of the water and create a panorama recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Panoramic paths connect these settlements, offering views of the Italian Riviera that change with every curve of the route. The national park protects this area, precisely where human communities and nature have coexisted in balance for centuries. Furthermore, The hillside terraces produce a local wine that tells the story of generations dedicated to viticulture in difficult conditions. Ligurian cuisine indeed finds its maximum expression here, with pesto that originated in this region and seafood that goes from sea to plate in a few hours. Finally, the clear waters that bathe these villages invite residents and tourists to immerse themselves, completing a unique experience that unites culture, nature, and gastronomic traditions in a concentrated space rich in nuances. Athens, Greece. The Greek capital blends the weight of history with the incessant beat of modern life. The Acropolis rises at the center of the city, with the Parthenon that has been observing the streets below for millennia. This ancient temple, dedicated to the goddess Athena, is just one of the many historical sites carved in stone that dot the city. The new Acropolis Museum, for example, breaks the mold with contemporary lines that house relics of a vanished world, while the Plaka district, with its labyrinthine streets and outdoor cafes, offers a dive into the most authentic Greek atmosphere. But Athens is also a city of contemporary culture, with an emerging art and music scene, vibrant markets, and a gastronomy absolutely not to be underestimated. Italian islands, Italy. When talking about Italian islands, we obviously refer to Sicily and Sardinia. Let's start with Sicily, where Mount Etna dominates the eastern horizon, being the highest active volcano in Europe, and which still releases clouds of steam today. Along the north coast, we find the famous village of Cefalù, where houses climb up the rock to the Norman cathedral. The Aeolian Islands instead emerge from the sea, often loaded with lava. Stromboli, for example, erupts every 20 minutes, also creating light shows in the night. Furthermore, in Agrigento we find the Valley of the Temples, while in Taormina there is the Greek theater that overlooks the sea. Sardinia is a must for sea and nature lovers, and hides idyllic beaches among pink granite rocks. The Maddalena archipelago offers a labyrinth of islands and channels, while the Costa Smeralda is renowned for luxury and waters among the clearest in Europe. Not to be missed are also the beaches of Cala Luna and Cala Goloritse, true natural paradises, accessible only by sea or through suggestive paths, where the intense blue of the sea merges with the whitest limestone walls. May, June, and September transform these islands into true paradises, with the sea maintaining perfect temperatures for swimming, while the land offers colors and scents of the blooming Mediterranean scrub. Giethoorn, Netherlands. Known as the Venice of the North, Giethoorn is an idyllic village without streets for cars. Here, canals serve as transportation routes, and small rowing boats are the preferred way to get around. Thatched roof houses and wooden footbridges enhance the fairy tale atmosphere of the place. Visitors can explore the village by navigating its peaceful canals or by walking along the well-kept paths beside the water, discovering charming corners perfect for a photo stop. Beyond its natural and architectural beauty, Giethoorn is also a place of peace and serenity, far from the chaos of modern cities. Krakow, Poland. Krakow is a melting pot of history and culture, where a medieval past intertwines with modern artistic energy. The city boasts one of the largest and best-preserved historic centers in Europe, dominated by the majestic Wawel Castle, once home to Polish kings. In the castle's shadow, the vast market square is surrounded by historic merchant houses and by St. Mary's Basilica, home to the famous altar carved by Veit Stoss. Krakow is also a city of legends, like that of the Wawel Dragon, adding mystery to its historical charm. Moreover, the city never stops surprising, offering cultural festivals, classical and jazz music, alongside bohemian cafes and vibrant art galleries, pulsing with contemporary life. Iceland. In the north of the Atlantic Ocean, right where two great plates of the Earth meet, an enormous natural laboratory emerges with ice and volcanoes in the background. Speaking of ice, Vatnajökull is the largest glacier in Europe and dominates the island's landscape. Beneath its icy surface, active volcanoes create incredible ice caves that transform each summer, while the icy water of rivers has carved deep canyons. The capital, Reykjavik, is a particular city and utilizes the natural heat of the earth. Its houses are heated by hot water that naturally springs from the underground, and often one can see the steam from thermal pools mixing with the lights of the northern lights in the sky. Lake Maivatn, instead, offers a scenario that resembles the lunar surface. Solidified lava has created very strange shapes, and vapors that smell of sulfur come out from the ground. The fjords in the western part of the island are like enormous inlets that insinuate themselves into the coast. Millions of puffins live on their cliffs, while orcas swim in the deep waters. July offers the midnight sun and temperatures that allow exploring the island. The interior roads open, giving access to the highlands where the Vikings' feared spirits lived. Dolomites, Italy. The Dolomites, often called the Pale Mountains, rise majestically into the northern Italian sky, offering vistas that defy the imagination. These stunning peaks, lit by sunset in hues of pink and orange, create an atmosphere that feels almost magical. Their unique rock formations, with sharp towers and deep canyons, are the result of ancient geological processes that continue to fascinate climbers and nature lovers. The Dolomites are not only a paradise for winter sports and hiking, they are also a place where nature's grandeur merges with local history and culture, offering an experience of pure and timeless beauty. Azores, Portugal. The Azores archipelago, located in the heart of the Atlantic Ocean, is a fascinating destination for lovers of unspoiled nature and adventure. The 9 islands that make it up offer diverse and spectacular landscapes, from volcanic craters to blue lakes, from thermal springs to green pastures. Saint-Michel, the largest island, is famous for its tea plantations, the only ones in Europe, and for the natural pools of Furnas, where visitors can relax in warm waters. Terceira, with its historic city of Angra do Heroísmo, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a jewel of colonial architecture, reflecting the historical importance of the archipelago. The Azores are also ideal for whale watching, offering chances to spot whales and dolphins in an extraordinary natural habitat. Each island has its own unique character, making every visit an unforgettable experience. Berlin, Germany. A city that played a crucial role in the history of the 20th century is today a center of art, culture, and innovation. From the Brandenburg Gate to the Reichstag, Berlin's historic landmarks tell stories of war, division, and reunification. The city is famous for its underground art scene, its electronic music clubs, and its many museums, including Museum Island, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Berlin is also a symbol of diversity and openness, with a cosmopolitan population and a welcoming, inclusive environment. Paris, France. Paris is universally known as the city of elegance, romance, and culture. Every corner of this metropolis is steeped in history, from the Grand Louvre, once a royal residence, and now a world-famous museum housing works like the Mona Lisa, to the magnificent Cathedral of Notre Dame, a masterpiece of Gothic architecture. A walk along the Champs-Élysées ends with the imposing Arc de Triomphe, built to celebrate Napoleon's victories. Paris is also the heart of global fashion, with haute couture boutiques lining wide, tree-lined boulevards. The city, moreover, offers countless parks and gardens, such as the Tuileries or the Luxembourg Gardens, perfect for a moment of peace in the heart of the city. Albanian coast, Albania. A territory where mountains and sea meet, creating one of the most untouched coastlines of the Mediterranean. This coastal stretch extends for hundreds of kilometers, alternating sandy beaches with vertical cliffs, where isolated coves remain accessible only through the sea, preserving their intact nature. From north to south, the coast reveals different souls. Samo presents crystalline waters that surround small verdant islands, creating panoramas reminiscent of tropical seas. The seabeds remain visible thanks to the transparency of the water, which, remaining calm for most of the season, allows diving and snorkeling. Continuing south, Butrint preserves 2,500 years of history recognized by UNESCO. The Greek theater overlooking the lagoon, while ancient mosaics and Venetian walls tell the evolution of a territory that has seen different civilizations succeed one another, each of which has left still visible imprints. And then there is Himara, a characteristic village with narrow alleys which climb among limestone houses, where outdoor cafes offer marvelous views of the turquoise-hued sea which stretches to the horizon. June represents the ideal time to explore this region, with the sea reaching perfect temperatures for swimming, while mountains that rise a short distance from the coast offer paths to venture into national parks. Lisbon, Portugal. The capital of Portugal is a city that enchants with its energy and timeless charm. Located along the Tagus River, it has been a crossroads of culture and history for millennia. Walking through its streets means immersing yourself in a mosaic of colors and sounds, from the yellow trams that clatter along the hills to the melancholic songs of Fado that resonate in the alleys of Alfama. This district, the oldest in the city, is a labyrinth of stone streets, colorful houses, and miradoros, the viewpoints from which you can admire spectacular views. Lisbon is also a city of great monuments. The Belém Tower, an icon of the maritime discoveries period, and the Jeronimos Monastery, with its splendid Gothic Manueline cloister, are two must-see stops. In the surroundings, waterfalls plunge directly into the sea, creating a spectacle that attracts visitors from around the world. Lisbon is a city that perfectly combines tradition and modernity, offering visitors a rich and unforgettable experience. Malta. Located in the Mediterranean Sea, is an island with a rich cultural heritage that stretches back over 7,000 years. The influence of Phoenicians, Romans, Arabs, Normans, and the British is visible in the fortifications, Baroque palaces, and churches that define the landscape. Valletta, the capital, is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its grid-like streets are lined with landmarks such as St. John's Co-Cathedral and the Grand Master's Palace, both highlighting the island's strategic past. Beyond history, Malta offers natural scenery like cliffs overlooking the sea and peaceful bays, perfect for exploring and relaxing. The islands of Gozo and Comino, part of the Maltese archipelago, offer a slower pace of life. Gozo is known for its rock formations, crystal-clear waters, ideal for diving, and hiking trails that reveal views of rural landscapes. Comino, instead, is famous for its Blue Lagoon, an area of remarkable natural beauty. Lake Bled, Slovenia. The Julian Alps surround a mirror of water, where an island rises at the center, hosting a church that tells centuries of pilgrimages and traditions. On a cliff that overlooks the panorama, moreover, a medieval castle dominates the entire basin, testifying to historical events that have shaped this region. There are also hidden thermal springs beneath the surface, which maintain the water at a pleasant temperature, creating a unique microclimate in this alpine area. And then there are the pletten, which are traditional boats of characteristic shape, and transport visitors to the island, crossing the calm waters. From June to September, the lake shows its true nature, with the paths that trace its perimeter offering ever-changing perspectives of the same landscape, while the surrounding mountains color with shades, creating scenarios that seem to have emerged from a fantastic world. Hallstatt, Austria. It's a true three-dimensional postcard. The wooden and stone houses climb up the mountain, creating a cascade of roofs that are reflected in the waters of the namesake lake. The bell tower of the Lutheran church stands against the sky, becoming the focal point that has made the city the most photographed subject in Austria. The historic center develops along a single narrow alley with fishermen's and miners' houses that have flower-filled balconies jutting over the water. Boats cross the lake every hour, offering ever-new perspectives of the village. In the evening, the lights of the houses reflect in the water, creating a spectacle that has inspired artists for generations. May bring spring to these mountains with tourists not yet crowding the streets, allowing you to explore the village at leisure. Hallstatt is not just a place to photograph, but an experience to be lived with all your senses. Alsace, France. Imagine a place where France and Germany merge, and where half-timbered houses are reflected in canals, like in an impressionist painting. Welcome to Alsace. Strasbourg, with its Gothic cathedral that rises toward the sky, keeps in its alleys the essence of united Europe. Petite France, with its covered bridges and geraniums at the windows, tells stories of tanners and fishermen. Just 73 kilometers away instead, Colmar emerges from the fog like a Brothers Grimm fairy tale. Little Venice, with its pastel-colored houses, looks like a life-size gingerbread village. In winter, when snow blankets the sloping roofs and the scent of mulled wine and pretzels spreads among the Christmas markets, these twin cities reveal their most authentic magic. Lights reflect on canals creating golden kaleidoscopes, while in windstubs, typical Alsatian taverns, time flows as slowly as the Rhine. It is here, between a steaming choucroute and a glass of Riesling, that one understands that Alsace is not France, is not Germany, it is simply itself. Cornwall, England. At the extreme border of England, where land meets the Atlantic, exists a world apart. Cornwall isn't just a peninsula, but it's a realm of living legends. Cliffs shatter into 1,000 pieces, creating beaches that seem painted, while fishing villages hide in inlets, like secrets guarded by the sea. But this land breathes ancient magic. At Tintagel Castle, for example, King Arthur isn't just a legend, it's home. And every stone recalls stories of knights. And then there's a miracle of nature, with palms growing in England and subtropical gardens that defy geography. The climate here has its own rules. But the real masterpiece? The Eden Project. 2 giant biospheres that guard rainforests a few kilometers from the ocean. Because in Cornwall, even the impossible finds home. Greek islands. If visiting Europe, a tour among the Greek islands cannot be missed, primarily the Cyclades and the Ionian Islands. Santorini is witness to a volcanic apocalypse, with little white and blue houses clinging to the walls of the caldera, where the sea bathes the crater of a volcano that changed the history of the Mediterranean. Akrotiri preserves a Minoan city buried by ash, frozen in time like Pompeii. Mykonos, instead, has windmills dominating the port, little Venice jutting over the water, and lots of bars and beach clubs that party until dawn. Corfu, moreover, offers some of the most beautiful beaches and waters in all of Greece. Crete, finally, hides the labyrinth of the Minotaur, the Samaria Gorge, and the beaches of Elafonice with pink sand. September transforms these islands into true paradises. Summer crowds decrease, the sea maintains the warmth of summer, while the wind calms, allowing tranquil navigations between the islands. Hamburg, Germany. Germany's second largest city is famous for its port, one of the biggest in Europe, and for its vibrant cultural and musical scene. The Speicherstadt, the historic warehouse district, is a maze of red brick buildings built on stilts, crisscrossed by canals, now home to museums and stylish cafes. The new symbol of the city, the Elbphilharmonie, is a bold piece of modern architecture that houses one of the most acoustically advanced concert halls in the world. Hamburg is also known for its red light district, the Reeperbahn, where nightlife never sleeps, offering live shows, bars, and clubs for every taste. Moreover, a cruise on the Elbe River should not be missed, offering a different perspective of the city and revealing its fascinating blend of maritime tradition and modernity. Plitvice Lakes National Park, Croatia. Plitvice Lakes National Park, located in Croatia, is famous for its 16 terraced lakes connected by a web of waterfalls. Each lake displays shades of blue and green that shift with the sunlight, creating a dreamlike setting. Wooden walkways allow visitors to walk right above the crystal-clear waters, observing the dynamic flow of the Cascades up close. Surrounded by dense forest, the park is home to a variety of wildlife, making every visit a nature adventure. Plitvice is undoubtedly a place of incredible peace and natural beauty, where each season brings new colors and sensations. Amsterdam, Netherlands. Amsterdam is not just the capital of the Netherlands. It is a true crossroads of culture, history, and modern European life. Its iconic canals, recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, wind through the city like ribbons of water, inviting endless exploration. Every bridge, every waterway, adds a new layer to the sense of continuous discovery. Amsterdam is also renowned for its artistic heritage, home to masterpieces in the Van Gogh Museum and the Rijksmuseum, along with deeply moving places like the Anne Frank House. The city is a cyclist's paradise, with bike lanes stretching for miles, encouraging an active and eco-friendly lifestyle. Markets like the vibrant floating flower market overflow with local products and specialties, while canal-side cafes offer relaxing pauses with scenic views. And for nightlife lovers, the city delivers an eclectic experience, ranging from traditional brown cafes to cutting-edge electronic music clubs. Helsinki, Finland. Helsinki, the capital of Finland, is beloved for its innovative design and exceptionally high quality of life. The city is a showcase of modern architecture and functional style, with highlights such as the Kiasma Museum of Contemporary Art in Finlandia Hall. Nature is central to life here, with wide parks, a beautiful coastline, and countless islands easily reached by ferry. Helsinki's central market offers a view into Finnish culinary culture, with fresh local produce and specialties like smoked salmon and rye pastries. In winter, Helsinki transforms with Christmas markets and ice rinks, while in summer, long days under the midnight sun come alive with cultural events and outdoor festivals. London, England. Imagine a city where past and future look each other in the eyes every morning. On one side, Tower Bridge, on the other, the Shard piercing the clouds. This is London, a city where every corner tells a different story. And the incredible thing? The treasures of the British Museum, the masterpieces of the National Gallery, the shows of the West End, everything within reach. Just walk along the Thames and magic reveals itself step by step. But when the noise becomes too much here, Hyde Park and Regent's Park welcome you, as if the city knew exactly when you need silence. And then there's the Tube, the world's oldest, that takes you anywhere in minutes. To Borough Market, for example, to taste the world. Or to Camden to hear music you didn't know. Or again to Shoreditch to get lost in street art. This is London's secret. It's not a city, but it's an entire world, that's just waiting for you. Dubrovnik, Croatia. Known as the Pearl of the Adriatic, it's famous for its massive medieval walls that surround the old town. This magnificent example of fortified architecture offers panoramic walks with breathtaking views over the crystal-clear sea. Inside the city, history comes to life in landmarks such as the Rector's Palace and the Church of St. Blaise. The Straden, the main pedestrian street, is lined with historic buildings and outdoor cafes, making it a lively cultural and social hub for both tourists and locals. The city is also the perfect starting point for exploring the surrounding islands and the Dalmatian coast, renowned for its natural beauty and emerald waters. Catalonia, Spain. A region that extends beyond its capital, Barcelona, presenting landscapes and traditions that tell different stories. Girona develops in the north, with its perfectly preserved Jewish quarter and medieval walls that surround the historic center, with perspectives on the ancient city and the rivers that cross it. Here there is also the Costa Brava, which winds along the coast with localities that show distinct characters. Cadaqués maintains an atmosphere of a fishing village, while Lloret de Mar combines beaches and nightlife, creating a balance between relaxation and fun. In the hinterland instead, we find Montserrat, a monastery built among unique rock formations. This place serves both as a center of religious pilgrimage and as a starting point for excursions in the surrounding nature, demonstrating how spirituality and environment intertwine in this territory. But Catalan cultural richness also manifests through local traditions, kept alive in urban and rural centers with festivals and celebrations that reveal the identity of a region that preserves a strong sense of belonging. Cambridge, England. Oxford's eternal rival is Cambridge, where genius flows like the River Cam. Its waters caress colleges that look almost like castles, and bridges connect not only shores, but centuries of tradition. And then there are also the Backs, which are lawns so green they seem painted. At the center of everything, King's College rises like a cathedral of knowledge, with its 15th century Gothic chapel that is music-made architecture. At Christmas, when the choir sings, the entire world stops to listen to those voices that cross screens and reach straight to the hearts of millions of people. But Cambridge's true magic is the minds it has forged. For example, in the Cavendish laboratory, they unveiled the secrets of DNA and opened the doors of modern physics. And today they're inventing the future, with technologies that in 20 years will seem normal, but which are born right here. Lapland, Finland. Finnish Lapland is an enchanted region, best known for its spectacular displays of the Northern Lights. This natural phenomenon turns the night sky into a theater of dancing lights, with shades of green, violet, and blue illuminating the snowy landscape. Beyond the celestial wonder, Lapland is a paradise for winter activities like skiing, snowshoeing, and sled rides pulled by dogs or reindeer. The Sami culture, the indigenous people of the region, adds another layer of depth to the experience, with music, crafts, and traditions that have endured for generations. Lapland offers a refuge far from the chaos of everyday life, a place where nature rules and time slows down in peaceful solitude beneath the vast Arctic sky. Sofia, Bulgaria. At the foot of the Vitocha Massif presents itself as a living mosaic where each era has left its own indelible imprint. Alexander Nevsky Cathedral, with its golden domes that shine under the Balkan sun, is much more than a church. It's a symbol of Bulgarian liberation from Ottoman domination and one of the largest Orthodox temples in the world. Beneath the modern streets of the city, archaeological excavations continuously reveal new chapters of its millennial history, with the ancient Roman city that today coexists with Ottoman mosques and medieval churches, creating a unique architectural dialogue. The Rotunda of St. George, moreover, the oldest construction in the city, hides inside frescoes that tell 16 centuries of uninterrupted Christianity. Winter brings with it not only the snow that whitens Vitocha, but also the opportunity to immerse oneself in the culture of thermal baths, a Roman heritage that survives in the numerous historical establishments of the city, where sulfurous waters naturally spring from the underground. Valdorcia and Florence, Italy. The Valdorcia is a true Renaissance painting. White roads wind between hills, where cypresses mark the boundaries. The Vita Lata Chapel stands solitary, a reference point for many pilgrims since the Middle Ages. Among the most beautiful villages, Pienza emerges from the valley like an experiment in an ideal city. Piccolomini Palace overlooks the Valdorcia through a loggia that frames the landscape, while the streets bear names of love and fortune, such as Via dell'Amore, Via del Bacio, Via della Fortuna. Florence, instead, preserves the genius of the Renaissance in every street and palace. The Ponte Vecchio crosses the Arno, while Brunelleschi's dome rises in the sky, defying the laws of physics. May transforms the Valdorcia into a spectacle of colors, with poppies dotting the wheat fields, while temperatures allow long walks between art and nature. Tallinn, Estonia. Tallinn, the capital of Estonia, is a Baltic gem whose old town lies within strong medieval walls, filled with towers and guard gates. The city stretches skyward with its red roofs and church spires, while the sound of bells sets the pace of daily life. The heart of the city is Town Hall Square, where the Gothic town hall stands as a symbol of medieval power and prosperity. Here you can immerse yourself in a bygone atmosphere, wandering narrow lanes that spiral out from the square, discovering artisan shops selling wool sweaters and amber jewelry. Be sure to climb Tuonumpi Hill to enjoy a breathtaking view over the city and the sea, a panorama that has inspired generations of poets and painters. Tallinn, with its unique mix of medieval history, modern art, and a lively nightlife, offers an unforgettable adventure in every season. Canary Islands, Spain. An archipelago in the Atlantic, a true paradise of geographic and climatic diversity. Tenerife, the largest island, is dominated by the majestic Mount Tide, Spain's highest peak, with lunar landscapes and lush forests nearby. The island's varied climate allows a range of outdoor sports, from mountain hiking to diving in clear waters. Tenerife is also celebrated for its botanical gardens and for festivals like Carnival, one of Europe's most colorful and vibrant. Gran Canaria, instead, is known for its endless beaches and the Maspalomas dunes, resembling a small desert by the sea. The island also offers charming mountain villages and a lively nightlife in its capital, Las Palmas. Lanzarote, with its surreal volcanic landscapes and Cesar Manrique's art blended into nature, is an island where art and environment merge in a unique way. Fuerteventura, finally, is famed for its white sand beaches and turquoise waters, often caressed by winds, a paradise for surfers and sailing lovers. Each Canary Island offers a unique experience, making the archipelago a top-tier tourist destination. Porto, Portugal. Between the banks of the Douro River, there is a city that immediately enters the heart of those who visit it. The scent of the sea mingles with that of wine resting in the city's cellars, and fishing boats depart at dawn among crowds of seagulls. The cellars of Vila Nova de Gaia guard port wine, while houses climb the hills, creating a mosaic of red roofs. The Riviera district, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is rich with narrow streets, colorful buildings, and welcoming restaurants, where you can savor typical dishes like francesinha and bacalhau. The majestic cathedral, instead, with its dominant position on the hill, offers spectacular views of the city and the river. São Bento Station should be visited because it's rich with azulejos, the characteristic Portuguese tiles, while in the taverns cod reigns supreme. From September to October, the city offers its best face, with the climate allowing long explorations and harvest filling the streets with festivities. Salzburg, Austria. The city where Mozart was born is a Baroque creation between the Alpine mountains and the course of the Salzach River. The center of the city, recognized by UNESCO, wraps tourists in ancient streets under the shadow of the Hohensalzburg fortress that watches from above. Along Getreidegasse, shops speak through their iron signs, and here Mozart's first house is preserved, transformed into a space that celebrates his life. The Salzburg Festival, instead, attracts people from all over the world and is a gathering where classical music lives in squares and theaters. Furthermore, the Mirabel Gardens offer a place where nature grows amidst the stone of the city's constructions. Thus, Salzburg unites the musical past with its historic walls, creating a place where melodies blend distant and present times. Verdun Gorge, France. In southeastern France opens a canyon that has earned the title of Grand Canyon of Europe. The Verdun River has carved this path through rock for millennia, creating walls that rise up to 700 meters from the water level. The hues of the stone oscillate between gray and green, transforming with the movement of the sun during the day. And it is precisely this play of lights that produces scenarios that constantly change, making each visit a unique experience. Here, kayaks and canoes glide on the water, offering a unique perspective from bottom to top of this natural wonder. Navigating the river, moreover, one discovers hidden corners and pools of transparent water, inaccessible through terrestrial paths. Wild nature dominates in this environment, with water that continues its millennial work in a place that represents one of the most extraordinary river landscapes of the entire European continent. Edinburgh, Scotland. The Scottish capital is a city that strikes at first glance. Edinburgh rises on 7 volcanic hills, and every corner tells centuries of history. The center divides into 2 completely different parts: the medieval Old Town, with the castle that dominates from atop its rock, and the 18th century New Town, with straight and elegant streets that seem drawn with a ruler. The Royal Mile is the most famous street. It connects the castle, which seems to emerge directly from the rock, to Holyrood House Palace through a kilometer of cobblestones and history. Edinburgh's architecture tells two different eras. In the Old Town, the buildings rise up to 14 floors, true medieval skyscrapers, built in dark stone. In the New Town instead, Georgian houses of golden sandstone dominate, with their symmetrical facades and colored doors that create postcard-worthy views. But to truly understand Edinburgh, you must climb Arthur's Seat, the ancient volcano 251 meters high that watches over the capital. From its summit, you see the entire city spread below, with the North Sea shining on the horizon. This is perhaps the most beautiful view in Scotland. Cyprus. Cyprus, the divided island in the eastern Mediterranean, merges rich culture with extraordinary natural beauty. It features sandy shores, turquoise waters, and ancient archaeological sites, a crossroads of civilizations reflected in its architecture, cuisine, and traditions. Paphos, with its Roman mosaics and the legendary birthplace of Aphrodite, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The island is also famed for Commandaria wine, one of the oldest wines still produced in the world. The island's division between the Republic of Cyprus and the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus offers a unique dynamic, with a mix of Greek and Turkish influences shaping daily life and identity. Bruges, Belgium. Bruges is often called the Venice of the North, thanks to its idyllic canals and well-preserved cobblestone lanes that evoke medieval times. This fairy tale city is famous for its market square, dominated by the Belfry Bell Tower standing 83 meters tall. Chocolate lovers will find paradise here, with countless chocolatiers offering handcrafted delights. A walk along the canals at sunset or a boat cruise can turn a simple tour into a memorable experience, revealing unique perspectives on well-preserved medieval houses and historic towers defining the cityscape. Madrid, Spain. The Spanish capital unites tradition and modernity in a balance that manifests in every corner of the city. Gran Via crosses the center with historic buildings that host thousands of commercial activities, creating a contrast that defines Madrid's identity. The Royal Palace, instead, counts 3,418 rooms, which make it one of the most extensive royal palaces in Europe. This structure, flanked by the Almudena Cathedral, continues to play a central role in state ceremonies, keeping alive the link between monarchical past and institutional present. Then there is also the Mercado de San Miguel, which offers a journey into Spanish gastronomy, but in the heart of the city. Each stall presents different specialties, each ready to tell the culinary diversity of the country, from seafood of Galicia to cheeses of La Mancha. Finally, the Prado Museum should be remembered, which houses the largest collection of Goya's works in the world, along with masterpieces by Velázquez. These canvases represent not just art, but also visual documents that illustrate the complex Spanish history through the gaze of its greatest interpreters. Warsaw, Poland. Like a phoenix risen from its own ashes, Warsaw represents one of the most extraordinary examples of urban rebirth in European history. Its old town, completely destroyed during World War II and rebuilt stone by stone by its inhabitants, tells a story of resilience that is incredible. Every brick, every fresco, every architectural detail has been recreated using ancient photographs and detailed paintings by Canaletto, transforming memory into tangible reality. The royal castle, center of Polish power for centuries, stands majestic on the market square, with its halls that testify to the ancient grandeur of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Winter envelops the city in a white mantle, transforming the gardens of Wilanów Palace into a fairy tale landscape, while golden lights reflect on the snow, creating an almost mystical atmosphere. Toledo, Spain. Surrounded on three sides by the Tagus River, Toledo is a medieval fortress rising majestically on a hill, offering breathtaking views of the Spanish countryside. This ancient city is a melting pot of Jewish, Christian, and Muslim influences, visible in its many churches, synagogues, and converted mosques, each telling centuries of coexistence history. The city's heart is its magnificent cathedral, housing artworks by El Greco, one of the greatest painters of the Spanish Renaissance, whose house museum is just a short distance away. Strolling through narrow stone lanes, you discover hidden courtyards and shops selling ancient armor crafted by artisans. Toledo enchants both the eyes and the palate, with local treats like marzipan, a sweet reflecting the sweetness of life in this historic city. Copenhagen, Denmark. Copenhagen blends its historic charm with a modern aesthetic, making it one of the world's most livable cities. The Danish capital is known for its commitment to sustainability, evident in innovative architecture and a well-developed bike-friendly system, inviting locals and tourists alike to explore on two wheels. Highlights include Rosenborg Castle, home to the Danish crown jewels, and the Little Mermaid statue inspired by Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tale. Copenhagen is also the beating heart of Scandinavian design, with boutiques and showrooms showcasing Nordic lifestyle. For food lovers, the city offers an excellent culinary scene, from cozy Danish cafes to new Nordic cuisine establishments. Mont Saint-Michel, France. In the heart of Normandy, Mont Saint-Michel rises like a mystical adventure, a fortified island that seems to defy the laws of nature and time. The abbey that crowns the island is a masterpiece of medieval architecture, whose construction began in the 8th century and continued for centuries. Today, Mont Saint-Michel is not only a religious pilgrimage site, but also a destination that draws travelers from all over the world, eager to wander through its narrow alleys, ancient walls, panoramic terraces, and witness the famous phenomenon of the shifting tides. At low tide, visitors can walk across the sand to reach the island on foot, while at high tide, the sea surrounds it completely, creating an unforgettable spectacle. Local guides share captivating stories that weave history, legend, and myth into an experience rich with wonder. Milan, Italy. Milan, capital of fashion and design, is a metropolis that merges millennial history and contemporary innovation. The Duomo, majestic Gothic cathedral, dominates the central square with its breathtaking architecture and its intricate spires. The Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II, with its glass and iron roof, is an elegant commercial passage and symbol of the Milanese lifestyle. La Scala Theatre, meanwhile, World Temple of Opera, attracts music enthusiasts from all over the world. Milan is also the beating heart of international fashion, with its famous Fashion Quadrilateral that hosts the boutiques of the most prestigious brands in the world. Via Monte Napoleone, Via della Spiga, Via Sant'Andrea, and Via Manzoni form an exclusive shopping triangle, where luxury and elegance meet in a unique setting. Milan also surprises with its trendy neighborhoods like Brera and Navigli, its cutting-edge gastronomic scene, and its fashion weeks, offering a dynamic and sophisticated urban experience. Ghent, Belgium. Ghent is a hidden gem of Belgium, often overshadowed by its more famous neighbors. This city boasts a rich medieval heritage, with landmarks like the Castle of the Counts and St. Bavo's Cathedral rising proudly with their Gothic grandeur. Its charming historic center is a maze of canals that recall Bruges, yet it's infused with a youthful, cultural energy thanks to its vibrant student population. The pedestrian streets brim with cafes, restaurants, and boutiques, making Ghent a perfect place to discover history and modernity side by side. Oslo, Norway. Oslo, surrounded by mountains and sea, is the gateway to Norway's untamed natural beauty. The city blends architectural innovation and sustainability, best seen in the Opera House, which rises from the fjord like a gleaming white iceberg. The Viking Ship Museum and Vigeland Sculpture Park offer deep dives into Norwegian history and artistic expression. Oslo is also committed to environmental protection, with vast green spaces and a focus on eco-friendly public transport. The city serves as a perfect starting point for adventures into the wild, from chasing the northern lights to hiking through majestic fjords. Geneva, Switzerland. Geneva is known as the City of Peace, home to numerous international organizations like the United Nations and the Red Cross. Located along the shores of Lake Geneva and surrounded by the Alps and Jura Mountains, the city offers breathtaking scenery. The Jet d'eau, a powerful fountain at the heart of the lake, stands as one of Geneva's most iconic sights. Luxury watch boutiques and fine chocolatiers reflect Swiss excellence in both craftsmanship and gastronomy. Geneva is also the perfect base for exploring nearby Alpine towns and ski resorts, blending urban luxury with Alpine adventure. Croatian Islands, Croatia. With Croatian Islands, we refer mainly to Hvar and Korčula. Hvar is like an archive of maritime history, with Venetian walls protecting the port from the fury of the sea. The Spanish fortress dominates the city from above, while vineyards climb the terrace slopes. Hidden bays reveal Roman ruins, but there are also Benedictine monasteries that preserve ancient manuscripts. Korčula, instead, has walls in the shape of a fishbone. Here, St. Mark's Cathedral towers among stone houses, while the streets are designed to protect inhabitants from the winter bora. Among the alleys also hides the birthhouse of Marco Polo and the traditional dances of the Morisca Echo in the squares. July is the perfect period to explore these islands, with the mistral refreshing the days and the sea reaching ideal temperatures. Valencia, Spain. Where tradition and innovation merge into a fascinating urban mosaic. The city is famous for its City of Arts and Sciences, a futuristic complex that seems to rise from the surrounding water, designed by architect Santiago Calatrava. This space is not only a triumph of modern architecture, but also a cultural hub, with museums, an aquarium, and a planetarium that attract tourists from around the world. Let's not forget Las Fallas, a festival each March that transforms the city into an exhibition of art and fire, with enormous papier-mâché figures burned in spectacular bonfires, symbolizing rebirth and purification. Valencia is also the birthplace of paella, and here you can enjoy this dish in its most authentic form, cooked with fresh ingredients and following traditions that date back centuries. Montenegro. Montenegro, with its dramatic coastline and rugged interior, is one of Europe's hidden gems. Kotor, nestled in a bay reminiscent of the Norwegian fjords, is famed for its medieval architecture and fortified walls offering breathtaking views. Further south, Budva is known for its golden beaches and vibrant nightlife. Venture inland, and you will find even more awe-inspiring landscapes, like Dermator National Park, a paradise for hikers with glacial lakes and towering peaks. Lake Skadar, straddling the border with Albania, offers peaceful boat rides and a haven for birdwatchers in search of rare species.